Times family. I welcome you at ET Government Chai Pe Charcha. ET Government Chai Pe Charcha is an interactive program with bureaucrats and high achievers in diverse fields. Titled as Chai Pe Charcha, this high impact live video show highlights the journey into professional life and experiences in their career apart from their contribution towards society and nation building, besides accomplishments. Each week, we introduce a new guest and discuss interesting topics that matter. And today, on behalf of ET Government, the Economic Times, it's my pleasure and my honor to welcome Mr. Ashutosh AT Pednekar, IAS, Secretary of Industries and MSME, and MD for RICO, and Commissioner of DMIC in Government of Rajasthan. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Karthik. Thank you to the Economic Times also for invited me for this program. Thank you very much.
It's our pleasure to have you here, sir. Thank you for sparing time for us. For the audience, I would like to introduce Mr. Ashutosh Pednekar. He is a 2002 batch IAS officer of Rajasthan cadre, currently posted as Secretary of Industries, MSMEs, State Enterprises, Investments, NRIs, and BIP, Bureau of Investment Promotion. He is MD of Rajasthan State Industrial Development and Investment Corporation Limited, RICO, and Commissioner for Delhi Mumbai Industrial Corridor, which is very popular corridor across the country and which goes through Rajasthan. He is also looking after that in Government of Rajasthan. Prior to this, he was posted as Secretary of Panchayati Raj and Disaster Management, Relief and Civil Defense. He has also served as Commissioner and Secretary of Higher Education, and he has played a key role in bringing innovations in higher education ecosystem of the state during his tenure as Commissioner and Secretary of Higher Education. He, as Director of Tourism and Commissioner of Jaipur Municipal Corporation and CEO of Kota Municipal Corporation, he took several initiatives in tourism and urban development sector of the state. Mr. Pednekar has also served as SDO in Gharsana, Ganganagar, and Thanagaji in Alwar district during his initial days in service. He is postgraduate diploma holder in development management. Once again, I welcome you, Mr. Pednekar. And let me start with something which is, having a lot of surge in Rajasthan, and there's a huge buzz around that. Uh, right now, a lot of people are talking about industrial promotion and investments opportunities in Rajasthan, and it's a good thing for a state. And currently, you are holding a key responsibility of industries and MSMEs in the state. I would like to know from you that how Rajasthan is creating an industry and MSME friendly environment in the state. What sort of ideas you're coming up with?
Right. See, as far as promoting industry and especially the MSME industry in the state of Rajasthan is concerned, as a government, the policy or enabling policy environment has to be created. And for that, what has been done is the MSME Act was passed for the first time by the government, where any kind of an enterprise does not require any kind of a permission for setting up an enterprise for the first 3 years of its existence. Now that has been a revolutionary step because it has done away with so much of red tapeism and the various kind of permissions which are required. All the hurdles have been taken away, and it's made very easy for a person, an entrepreneur, to set up an enterprise. And this has been extremely well received in the state. Then there have been policies like the RIPS policy, the Rajasthan Investment Promotion Scheme, 2019, which was launched. And at the time of its launch was the most aggressive and the most incentivized kind of a package which was given anywhere in the country. For many other points like the subsidies, etc., which have been given by the government, many other states have also followed suit, following the RIPS model, which has been very successful in our state. There's also something called the Mukhyamantri Laghu Udyog Protsahan Yojana, where there is an interest subsidy which is given up to 4% for various kind of enterprises, especially the micro and the small enterprises. And thousands, literally thousands of businesses have taken advantage of this thing. Now, that is as far as the policy environment is concerned. But more than that, what is happening is that the government of Rajasthan has now concentrated in a big way on the infrastructure side of things. And I would like to elaborate maybe later in the interview, but what I can tell right now, as far as that is concerned, is that the government has taken a very important step where it has said that in every subdivision of the state, there has to be an industrial area. So for about 300, where we had for about 300 subdivisions, we had industrial areas in just half of them. So in the other half, RICO is setting up industrial areas. And for the first time, we are setting up industrial areas in 152 locations throughout the state in 1 year. And to put it in perspective and to put it in context, on an average, we used to set up about 3 or 4 industrial areas per annum. And this year, we are going to do 150 plus. So that is the kind of focus which is there on the infrastructure side to take industrialization deep into the hinterland. It's not just to be, have horizontal and vertical spread of the industries. That is what is being done, and an enabling policy environment has also been sought to be created, which has given us very encouraging results so far.
That's great to know that a lot of such schemes and actually you're implementing it. We also get to know a lot about that in various small cities. Also, you're coming up with various RECO developments, RECO industrial areas, and they are, recently I got to know that in Ajmer there was something happened related to industry and investment. So even you are catering to all the cities of the state. I would like to know from you that apart from promoting these state industries, what are you doing for investment promotion in the state, how to get more and more investment, and along with that, the industrial development which you are talking about.
Right. So, as far as the investment promotion is concerned, what we are doing directly right now is that on the 24th and 25th of January 2022, we are having the summit called the Invest Rajasthan Summit, which is taking place. And to promote that particular event, we have already started our road shows throughout the country and internationally also. So we just came back from Dubai, where we were participating in the Dubai Expo, where we have signed investment proposals of 45,000 crore rupees. Day before yesterday, we were in Delhi, where we had a roadshow where MOUs and LOIs worth 78,700 crore rupees were signed. So we have got an extremely encouraging result from their side. Now, what we are doing is, as far as the MOUs and LOIs are concerned, is we are signing memorandum of understanding with those entities or those enterprises which already has land with them, which already have land, and letter of intent with those which do not have land but they are seeking land. Now, for example, in the case of Delhi, out of the 78,700 crores, 69,000 crores were MOUs that were signed. That is, we signed the entity with those entities which already had land with them. The idea behind this is that on the 24th of January, in a very big way, we are going to launch the groundbreaking and the inauguration ceremonies in a very big way. So that is something unique which is being done for the investment promotion in this state. Another unique thing which has been done this time is that the investment summit will not only be held in Jaipur. The culmination will take place in Jaipur, but there'll be an investment summit that will take place in every district, all the 33 districts of Rajasthan. And this is because the state itself is so large. Many of our districts are the size of many other states of the country. And we are trying to see every district as a unit, which will try to get investment at its own level within the district. At this time also we have done a new innovation where all the major departments, we have identified 9 major departments which are related to industrial development in one way or the other. They will be holding their own summits in the build up to the 24th and 25th of January, where they shall be signing MOUs and LOIs at their own level. I can tell you that we are reaching out to 28 cities throughout the country. Our teams have been going to 28 cities throughout the country. And we were supposed to go internationally also, but because of the new COVID situation, we are now suspending those things after the Dubai Expo. But we are making use of technology through VCs, etc. And we are reaching out in a very big way domestically as well as internationally. And so far, the results have been extremely encouraging.
Right. So I would also like to know from you, Mr. Pednekar, that there are many thirst areas in Rajasthan. When you talk about industries, there are traditional ceramic industry, tourism industries there, petrochemical we found in, a lot of surges there in Badmer region, and there are renewable energy, EV also. I think state is very bullish about. So I would like to know from you some details about these some particular major thirst areas of Rajasthan.
Right, right. So you have very correctly said that we certainly have thrust areas. We have identified 12 of them. All of these thrust areas are such that we play to the natural advantage of the state. So, for example, one of the biggest thrust areas that we are currently working on is in the renewable energy side. Now, Rajasthan currently produces renewable energy at the lowest cost anywhere in the world. So that is the reason why we are seeing massive investment in this sector, not just nationally but internationally, from various capital funds, from various sovereign funds. and various PE enterprises, etc., we have seen a tremendous amount of interest here. So the renewable energy is one big thrust area that we are getting into. Even for this summit, the maximum investment is coming in that area. So that is one. Secondly, the petrochemicals, chemicals, and the petroleum sector is also become very important because of the refinery which is coming up, the $7 billion refinery which is coming up in Pachpadra, and the downstream industries that would be dependent on that which are coming up in Pachpadra. RICO has already acquired about 2,000 hectares of land for a very major petro zone which is being established. For this, we have already given a proposal to the Government of India for having it declared as a PCPR node. When it is declared or when it is notified as a PCPR node, it will become the fourth in the country and the first inland PCPR node. And there is a huge amount of interest because all the downstream industries based on ethylene, polyethylene, polypropylene, all those industries would get a chance to be established there. The other thing is the Delhi Mumbai Industrial Corridor, where we are working in collaboration with the Government of India. Two major world class industrial cities and townships are being set up. One is called the Greater Bhiwadi Industrial Township, and the other is the Marwad Industrial Cluster. Both are $1 billion each in terms of investment. Government of Rajasthan has a 51% equity stake, and the Government of India through NICDC is 49%. But this is going to be a major investment node where, because of the quality of the infrastructure and the fact that it is situated right on the dedicated freight corridor, we are seeing a lot of interest in this. Other area is what we are also trying to do is I'll just like to flag two major projects of the NHAI. One is called the Delhi Mumbai Expressway, and the other is the Amritsar Jamnagar Highway. Both are greenfield projects, and what that has enabled us to do is that it has opened up the hinterland of Rajasthan, where a lot of land has opened up, and logistically it's very advantageous. So we are working on that also. And you mentioned ceramics, so we are working on the gas-based industries because there's a major gas grid which is being laid up in the entire state. Then mines and minerals is a traditional strength of Rajasthan. So also in the auto and auto component sector, textile sector, gems and jewelry, stones, etc. So there are a huge amount of advantages that we are playing to, and the thrust sectors are such that we are offering a good amount of incentive packages, and the result has been that most of the investment has come in these 12 thrust sectors.
Right. And also, I would like to know from you that before I ask you about how you are leveraging technology in your processes and in your operations, I would like to know that even the IT industry, maybe fintech or IT and electronics, do you think is there any scope for this in Rajasthan?
Oh, certainly. See, what has happened is there is a tremendous amount of interest, especially post COVID, which has come into the services sector. And to leverage that particular thing, what we have done is right in the heart of the city, we have got a 100-acre, very prime piece of land right next to the airport, where we are establishing the fintech city, which is meant for the high-end consultancy, IT, and financial services sector, which is the fastest growing sector in the country right now, and even internationally is the fastest growing sector. So we are trying to leverage that. We have one of the best talent pools in the entire country, as you must be aware: chartered accountants, company secretaries, cost accountants. Rajasthan is a worldwide exporter of such talent. So we would like to have make a great use of this particular talent that we have, and so far we are getting very encouraging results. I would like to put things in perspective. I see the kind of because of the very progressive policies, because of the focus on infrastructure, what has happened is that over the past 2 to 3 years, there is a tremendous amount of interest which has taken place in buying industrial plots in the entire state. As a result of which, where on an average, RICO used to sell about 250 plots per annum. In the year 2019-20, we sold 1,224. In 2021, it became 2,863, and this year we are going to cross 5,000. So that's a 20x increase over what normally we used to do. Now, this is something which is possible because of the increased amount of interest that we can see, not just in the manufacturing sector, but also in the services sector in the state. So this is really an indicator of the tremendous amount of confidence that investors are showing in the state. And also on the front of infrastructure, I would like to just flag that about 6 months back, the government of India through the DPIIT in collaboration with the Asia Development Bank, they did a survey of about 1,500 of the industrial areas of the entire country, and of which 68 industrial areas of the entire country were clubbed into the leader category, saying they were the topmost or the best infrastructure having industrial areas in the entire country. So out of the 68, 25 were from Rajasthan. So that only shows the sheer depth and the quality of the industrial infrastructure that we have, not just for the industries, but also for the services industries also. So many of those facts are generally not known. The fact that, for example, among all the state industrial development corporations of the entire country, there is an organization called COCDC of all of them put together, which has a all India ranking. So this year, RICO stood first in the entire country on all those parameters. So I'm just giving you certain indicators which show of the tremendous amount of progress which is taking on multiple fronts in the entire state at this moment.
Right. So, Pednekar, you are popular for promoting IT innovations, and wherever you have been in various departments, we have followed your work. You promote using technology for better services to the people. So I would like to know from you that, and we got to know about e-auction in industries department in RICO. I think it has been a game changer. I want to know from you the IT initiatives which you have taken so that industrial development investment boosts up in the state.
So, since you mentioned about the e-auction thing, we have been the first state which has moved for a complete e-auction process for all the industrial land disposal which has been taking place in the last 2.5 years. We have This is the only route that we have. It's a completely transparent process. A person can go on to the website, see all the database of the land which is available. He can select a piece of land, and that can be put up on e-auction. For every plot which is put up on e-auction at any given point of time, over 2,000 plus plots are on e-auction. There is a 360-degree view which is available for every plot. So even if a person were not to go to that particular place, one can have a view of what it is. There's a Google image, there's a drone video photography which is available of the entire industrial area, the layout maps, everything related to that is a seamless exercise. So much so that a person can buy a piece of plot anywhere in the state of Rajasthan by sitting anywhere in the world. You could be sitting in any country, you could be sitting in Europe, and then buy a piece of land, and knowing fully well what all are the services and what all is the infrastructure which is available in that particular place. And I think that has been one of the reasons why we have been able to achieve a 20x increase in the sale of land. That is also a contributing factor. And a very important thing here also has been that there have been absolutely, and it's a very happy thing to report, that after we started our e-auction process, which has been completely transparent, not a single complaint has come regarding anything whatsoever related to e-auction. So this is something which is quite dramatic. And many other states of the country, they have taken the details from us, and I'm sure this is an innovation that would be followed by other states also in the way and the manner. It's not that e-auction is something new, but the way and manner in which it is being done currently, that is. We also have an enterprise-wide ERP system that we are currently having. We are just about to launch an app which will be available for the about 50,000 enterprises which are there in RICO area, so that can be downloaded and everything would be available there. There's a one-stop shop which is there for where 14 departments are sitting in one, so that all the clearances, they did not go to any department, they don't have to run around to any department. There's just one building that they can have to come once, and they did not even come physically. They can come digitally, then give their application, and those things can be processed. So I think on the technology front, we have come a very long way. Of course, there are many things which can still be done. We are constantly taking feedback from industry. Like, for example, today we had a meeting with the industry representatives and asking them, what is it more that we can do? So they said things are looking fine, but they said if we can have a even more aggressive deadline. So what they were saying was, for many services, rather than having for, let's say, 20 days or 30 days, why not have a 7-day deadline? So we are looking at that very closely. We're working in close collaboration with the industry. We take the feedback and we are looking at that very. So that is the way we are moving. It's not just technology for the sake of technology, but technology which is usable, which is user friendly, and which is in keeping with what the industry wants. That is what we are trying to do.
Right. You mentioned about the Invest Rajasthan, which is, the culmination is happening in the end of January, 24th and 25th January. I would like to, because it is this Invest Rajasthan is getting popular day by day in the country. People are getting to know about it, and people are eager to know more about it. I request you to just give us some knowledge about some important components of Invest Rajasthan, and also what are you doing to, get the finally to get the best of the outcomes from that summit. Something which is very
Right.
concrete. It should be. So please share some more info about it, please.
Right. So the whole idea behind any investment summit is to encourage investment to come, and that is normally done through the model of MOUs and LOIs. So what we are doing is, so unique thing which I was just mentioning was we are not going to sign any MOU or LOI during the summit itself. So we are doing all this pre-summit. The whole idea is that in a very aggressive timeline to try to convert as many MOUs as possible into actual groundbreaking or to take place on the ground. Obviously, inauguration would not be possible, but at least groundbreaking. Once the groundbreaking is done and the actual project comes, or at least starts to come onto the ground, one can be convinced that that investment is going to come. The general or the most common criticism about many investment summits is that a lot of MOUs are signed, a lot of LOIs are signed, but the proportion of those MOUs and LOIs which actually come on ground is very less. So that is something that we have decided to take head on this time, and that is how we are concentrating. And the other thing is, we are going to launch about 14 policies with the help of the finance department. We have identified the 12 sectors which I was mentioning earlier, thrust sectors. We've added two more to that, for which we are launching 14 policies. And it's an extremely incentive heavy policies which have been launched for things like EVs and EV components, the hydrogen policy, even rare earths, etc. Those kind of policies which many of the states of the country even also don't have. So we are going to be a pioneer in a sense in those policies also. Of course, there are certain other policies that we have also taken the best practices from other states also. So we have followed some other states where we are required to follow them, and we have been pioneer in others where we think that we have a unique advantage in those areas. So because of these policies, I think we'll get even further investment. But I can just report that what we are doing now with this investment summit is, under the leadership of our Honorable Chief Minister and the Chief Secretary, what we are doing is that we are following a whole of government approach. All the departments are involved. It's not just the industries department, but we have all the departments which are involved, and you'll see in our road shows and in our summit, etc., that there's an equal contribution which has been made of all the departments. And I think the proof of the pudding is going to be in the eating. So when you see on the 24th and 25th of January, we hope to put on a good show and bring in a lot of investment in the state.
Definitely, I think we are very hopeful, and I would also request you to give a message to, firstly, to the industrialist, the industry leaders who are in Rajasthan. That what are the hopes for them in future in Rajasthan, and also the message for the industries and leaders, business leaders from other parts of the country and globally. Why should they invest in Rajasthan?
See, we believe that there's absolutely a totally new Rajasthan which is taking shape on the front of industry and economic development and on the front of infrastructure development. There are a whole lot of new opportunities which have opened up. Some of them are brand new opportunities which were not there 3 or 4 years earlier. The opportunities which are there, especially in the sector of renewable energy, which has seen an explosion in the last 3 or 4 years, is a big one. After the setting up of the refinery, there are other opportunities which have opened up in the petroleum sector. But more than that, after the setting up or opening up of new industrial areas throughout the state, because every region of the state has unique advantages in terms of resources, in terms of connectivity, etc. And the fact that we have land which we offer at one of the lowest rates in the entire, at least in the northern Indian states where we are in contention, and the logistical advantage which is there, and because of the Delhi Mumbai industrial corridor, the dedicated freight corridor, and the Delhi Mumbai expressway, the connectivity to the ports has increased in a big way. So we are falling in the in between area between the big markets of North India and the ports of Western India. Now these are unique advantages which are there. and the law and order situation, the very enabling environment in terms of governance which is available, it's an undeniable fact, and we have seen it on many occasions where we have gone head on head against for we always compete, states always compete against each other for the bigger investments. For the last 2 years, I've been noticing where companies have been kind of comparing between two or three states. I would not like to name individual companies, but when they have considered three or four states, Rajasthan, the final destination has been Rajasthan. So that has given us great hope. And we have been looking at their decision making matrix in terms of the various indicators that they have looked at. And we have found that the undeniable strengths of Rajasthan make Rajasthan a unique case for investment. Yes, there are certain weaknesses also. Let me be very frank with you. Like, for example, water. We are a water stressed state. So we do not encourage water intensive industries, for example. There are three areas of Rajasthan where water is available in plenty. But in general, we like to encourage those industries which do not use too much of water, and 90% plus industries actually fall in this category. So that is not an advantage, at least for the 90% plus category of industries. So having said that, I believe when you look at it in totality, when you look at as a decision making matrix and make a very informed and a logical decision, Rajasthan would be a contender to be among the first one or two places.
That's great, and I think with interaction with you, we got to know that there is an environment of ease of doing business in the state, and there is a lot of scope, not only in the traditional sectors of the state, but the new upcoming sectors like renewable energy, which is so great to know that there's a lot to grow with Rajasthan. So here with the audience, we would like to say that. There is advantage Rajasthan, and as the tagline says of your Invest Rajasthan, India's emerging business powerhouse, if I'm right. So I think Rajasthan is upcoming a big thing in terms of business environment, and we congratulate you and we give you best wishes on behalf of the Economic Times to get great investments and to get do best of the industry development in the state. Thank you so much, Mr. Ashutosh AT Pednekar.
Thank you, Karthik, and thank you to the entire Economics Times team. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.